Dez Bryant, Jerry Jones. Now Jerry Jones is the owner. He's the old white owner for the Cowboys. Dez Bryant, who was a receiver, apparently, and you know, I'm gonna try to break this down. Apparently, it says, all right, hold on. The recent blah blah, including a gratuitous slap at former Cowboys receiver and the agent Jay-Z. So Jerry Jones said something about negotiations with a linebacker, and it was a linebacker named Micah Parsons. But while he was talking about that, he mentioned former Cowboys receiver Dez Bryant and their agent. Let's see if we could figure out what is that.
Confirmed a lot of the things that I said last night in Canton when Maria Taylor and I were talking about the Parsons situation. Last night, they're going to trade him. I've heard they show that they're willing.
So it looks like the Cowboys owner is talking about a current player, but then he threw Dez Bryant name in the mix. This is what he said. He says, when we have a problem with the player, the agents usually know where to be found. He says, Jay-Z told us Dez Bryant would make all the meetings. Jay-Z and I negotiated the contract. We spent hours. He said, anybody in my organization is always on time. He said, my office used to be on the street corner. I've always been early. So will my players, because remember, if you don't know, they had Roc Nation Sports at that time. He says, will my players be on time? He's talking about the players they represent with Roc Nation Sports. He says, my office used to be on the street corner. I've always been early. So will my players be on time? And said, and what did I say? I said, I'm going to call you when I have a problem. So it looked like Jerry Jones says they negotiate a contract for Dez Bryant. The owner of the team, who's negotiating with the agent of the player, Dez Bryant, they're negotiating with Jay-Z's Roc Nation Sports. Jay-Z supposedly himself negotiates with Jerry Jones, the owner. Jay-Z sells him on this idea. Yo, I'm from the streets. Yo, I hold people accountable. People respect me. Yo, my office used to be on the street corner. So blah, 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 blah. Got you. Now, the owner said, Jerry Jones, he said, yo, when I had a problem, Jay-Z didn't take my call anymore. So he's basically saying, and I think his thing is that he doesn't like, agents. So Dez Bryant responded because, they're talking about a current player, but they reference him. And he responded by saying this. He says, Jerry Jones, I don't think it's smart to mention my name. This is what he said. I kept quiet about a lot of unfair shit on some G shit. Now, this is where Nicki Minaj entered the conversation because she had said, again, she's championing anybody who's going to speak bad about Jay-Z or Roc Nation because she doesn't fuck with Jay-Z or Roc Nation. She had said before, I hope Jerry Jones is having a great day. Then she at Dez Bryant and she said, hey, it's Nicki Minaj. How about we play a game? Every time you do a Jerry Jones or NFL story time, how about I do a story time of my own? Now, what she's going to talk about is she's assumed or alluding to, I'll do a story time about Jay-Z and I'll do a story time about Roc Nation. Now, what y'all don't know is that Dez Bryant, obviously, he was managed by Roc Nation Sports, but Jay-Z is a close friend of his. Okay? Dez Bryant responded with a looking eye emoji, and then Nicki said, all my stories will be about Roc Nation, Jay-Z, and the alleged racist Desiree Perez, the CEO. I hope you fully understand the rules. It is your turn, okay? Now, that kind of went for a little bit of a loop because now if we go to Dez Bryant's page, and we got to kind of try to follow this whole thing, Dez Bryant, and by the way, I like both of these people because they're like me. I don't delete tweets. I don't, leave the tweets up there, man. Some people will delete all traces. So let's get into it. So, okay, here we go. So he responds by saying this.
Look, Miss Nicki, leave me out of it. I don't want no problems. I'm a huge fan. I hope you're having a great day. Look, Miss Nicki, leave me out of it. I don't want no problems.
Okay. Now he said, I'm a fan of Miss Nicki Minaj. I'm not playing no games with her or getting in her business. I've said this before. The reason why Nicki attacked SZA is because she felt SZA was getting in her business. Whatever reason, Nicki has a gripe against Roc Nation and Jay-Z, and she's definitely down to take it out publicly and say whatever she got to say, embarrass whoever she got to embarrass. Now, anybody who tries to get in between that, try to change the narrative, like, no, Jay-Z's a good guy. She's going to get at you. That's what she's been on. So some people said, bro done combed up the beard and everything. He said, I smooth. He said, I could give some wild cowboy stories. I'm thinking about Nicki Minaj. Somebody says, yo, you know, the bars played dangerous. The video is frying me. Okay. Then what happened was Nicki takes the first shot. Nicki says, it's Miss Petty. Because he has said, hey, Miss Nicki.
Leave me out of
it.
Look, Miss Nicki.
He said, Miss Nicki. So he says, it's Miss Petty. And by the way, that's her husband's last name, Kenneth Petty, which is Nicki Petty. That's her full name. She's married to the guy. She said, this just came across my desk from 2020. I guess you're one of the guinea pigs they've been using to bully people for them. Did you think I came over here to play tweetsies with your silly ass, sir? See, the problem with people who are always playing is that they think everybody else is playing too. I'd mind my business if I were you. Just be blessed. And she tweets, Nicki gets blasted. Dez Bryant gets blasted by Nicki fans for jumping in beef with, I don't know who that person is. So he's basically saying, this ain't your first time jumping in my business, nigga. Okay? Cool. Now, she's kind of having a timeline wrong because technically it feels like Nicki jumped in his business because Jerry Jones was talking about a current player and mentioned Dez Bryant. And then because he mentioned Dez Bryant, he mentioned Jay-Z and Roc Nation. Nicki is keen to anything about Roc Nation. So she tweets about Jerry Jones. Hopefully he has a good day because she wants to diss Roc Nation. But here's the thing. Roc Nation was only brought up because of Dez Bryant. That's why Dez Bryant then responds to her. I hope you understood that. So it's not like he just jumped out of the blue. Anyway, let's see what Dez Bryant said. Dez Bryant says, go enjoy your day. Okay? Somebody said, oh, you scared of that. Ain't no way. See, I ain't scared of shit. I just don't like doing all the internet shit. I have respect for her, and I'd rather keep it that way. She got it. Now, he then fucked up. He put the diamond. Everybody know? The Rock! Okay. Nicki gets on his ass. She says, go beat your mom, then ask Desiree Perez and Jay-Z why they allegedly been the vile cunts they have been to so many black people while they line their pockets and weaponize racism in order to keep black people blinded from their truth. Why wasn't Desiree Perez pardoned by President Trump, publicized to the black people and hip-hop culture the way Lil Wayne was? Did she repay the president for that monumental blessing, or did she betray him the way Jay-Z allegedly betrayed the Democratic Party and countless others that he had business dealings with in the past? On second thought, just don't beat your mom. I'm sure she loved you once. This tweet is all alleged and all for entertainment purposes. Now, it shows Dallas Cowboy Dez Bryant was arrested after assaulting his mom. This is an old article. So, yeah, Nicki's on that. All right. Wow. Let me get back to where we were with that. Give me a second. And then I'll go. All right, here we go. All right, bet. So we're here. So then we get Dez Bryant, who responds to that. He says, how did I get caught up in the madness? I want people to love me the way they love Nicki. Real talk. Now, he responds to this by saying, wait, say bitch. I didn't go to jail. or touch my mama, I was defending myself. I removed her nails from my skin. Folks know I was dealing with some corruption in Dallas. I don't get how you could even be on the internet with your husband being a sex offender. You said we are speaking facts, weird hoe. Well, come on. She posted a picture of an article that says Nicki Minaj's husband, Kenneth Petty, sentenced to a 1-year house arrest for failing to register as a sex offender. Okay? Okay. Nicki gets back on her shit. Nicki says, she laughs at a fan says, grabbing your mother by the hair and saying Nicki Minaj is the one with personal issues. Be fucking for real. Then somebody, Barb says, Nicki, his daddy is the real R word. And this is something supposedly about his daddy. And it says, oh, is this true, you pussy ass nigga? Projection like always. We didn't make your dad R words your mom, just like we didn't make you beat her. All alleged for entertainment purposes only. Blah. Your poppy is who you're really mad at, sis. Rest. Okay? Now, Dez Bryant responded again. Hold on. Actually, before she could respond again, Nicki was on her head top one more time. Because she responds to a lot of fans. A parody account, Anika Cookie, or actually a fan account of Nicki, says, this is extremely disturbing. How can you beat woman who carried you for 9 months and birthed you? He needs to be locked up for life. And Nicki says, welp, another dumb nigga down bad. Dez Bryant responds to that by saying, I really didn't even go to jail. It was some real corrupt shit going on. Jerry, no, I've been keeping it player for all these years. Somebody said, not you trying to justify you putting your hands on your mama. You removed her nails, huh? But you can't remove the contradictions from your story. He says, I stand on business. I don't have shit to lie about. If I did those things, I should have been in jail. Then he's responding to Barb. He said, she's sitting there trying to fucking tell you that Jay-Z is corrupt and you scared as fuck to believe but want to go against Nicki. You're done. When you find out Roc Nation's a company that you rep is behind the smear campaign, da-da-da. And Dez says, I said I was out of it and she came at me. I went as far as saying I was a fan. Fuck all of that shit and shut the fuck up. So he's beef with Barbs. And, okay, he's just beef with Barbs. Okay, now he responds, okay. Now, Nicki responds to something with him. Here we go. Wait, where is that? Oh my God. This is so much stuff. Nicki's truly a interesting person. Okay. So, after he tweets out about Nicki's husband failing to register as a sex offender, Nicki responded by saying, I'm so happy you brought this up. I'll give you $10 million in cash if you come and fight him, since you beat your mom. He was lied on 31 years ago while both of them were 16. And there's proof. That's why they couldn't get money they desperately needed and sued for. Now you, on the other hand, you were beating your mother and you're an adult. Bigfoot has a brand new weird case as an adult. Jay-Z, he's dodging paternity tests that could prove he fucked a teen as an adult. Wow, this is crazy. Desiree Perez beating her daughter and calling her black son-in-law a Niger with the hard R as an adult, falsely had her own daughter institutionalized as an adult. Lied and said her own child was on drugs as an adult. By the way, this tweet is alleged and all for entertainment purposes only. As a matter of fact, let me go call President Trump and ask for a pardon like Desiree Perez did. Next, I'll get into the casino stuff. So Nicki is into the full storytelling and says, Dez Bryant, booty hole allegedly leaks as an adult. Should I start my own story times now? Okay. Then, did Dez say anything back? Oh, maybe not. Okay, so we gotta. Dez says, I'm not trying to hear all the victim shit. She came at me. I wish her well and give her respect. I'll stand up for myself whenever Jerry spoke of my name. I never mentioned her or Roc Nation. She decided to ride that wave. Fuck all that. I'm about to tell Cardi B on her. Okay. And then now, then Nicki posts this. Hey, it's Dad. Dad as in granddad? Oh, wow. Hi, I missed you. No, it's Baghdad, you fucking coon. You bombed with that 31-year-old T you was supposed to gag. Now they know your recent T, you dumb fuck. Or should I say your recent CTE, laughing my ass off. Okay, I don't know. Okay, Nicki's. Okay. Nicki then tweets something out. Desiree Roc Nation attempt to hold, okay, about their Desiree's daughter. It says, this is me looking the smartest, richest, most talented, prettiest, and most influential, intuitive, intimidating, blessed, and highly favored, and most genuine child of God. Fix it, Jesus. Then she responds, okay, so we're here now. My bad. Fuck. Okay. That might be the end of it, I think. Okay. Exhausting, to say the least. Here's the reality of it. No matter how much, and I've said at times I feel like Nicki is losing the plot. The Roc Nation stuff I've seen firsthand, and I think she got a point there. I think Nicki has to realize, Nicki, not everybody understands what you've been through or understands your plight against Roc Nation. You lose people when you start attacking others. For example, when you start attacking Dez Bryant, and Dez Bryant wasn't against you. All he was saying is that it seems he got some issues with Jerry Jones, but you were co-signing Jerry Jones because Jerry Jones spoke out against Roc Nation and Jay-Z. You come off a little bit unhinged when you're not focused at your target. You going against Dez Bryant. I don't think Dez Bryant is an agent for Roc Nation. I think he has his own issues with whoever, not Roc Nation. But you can't just blame everybody or act like everybody's against you on some matrix shit, like everybody's just in some world just trying to make sure you lose. And that's where people are looking at you and they're going to call you unhinged. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think Nicki got a point to some of these stuff. But it's not going to be seen or received well if she's so sporadic with it. And that's the problem. You get what I'm saying? Dez Bryant. Yeah. I don't even think. Has he ever spoken about her? Now, Nicki did get on live from what I remember. Let me see. Live bites. Let me see if we can find Nicki. I don't know if she spoke about anything in particular.
Miss Nicki, leave me out.
And I do have some sympathy for Dez Bryant because I don't think he wanted to get into it with Nicki Minaj. Them barbs are terrible.
If your mother was already abused, why would you grow up to beat her as a man? Starting to look like some of you men who didn't have a father in the home want other people to not have a father in their home. It's starting to look like some of you men whose daddy and granddaddy is the same man has been projecting his anger in relations to women being abused all over the internet. Because psychologically, he's defending his father. If a man can say, after finding out his mama slash sister was raped by his daddy slash granddad, that he forgives both of them, what do you mean both of them? What did she? If your mother was already abused, do. So is that why you've been beating her? Because you are taking out what he did on your mother, who was a child, you dumb bitch.
Whoa.
Just like my husband was a child, you dumb bitch, you cursed bitch. You not being in the NFL anymore, it's probably, I don't know anything about this. This man was tweeting about me 5 years ago with another woman beater, or about another woman beater. So you see, these men tend to take out the problems on the women. Men like that, whose fathers failed them, they are hurting that they did not have their dad. They have.
All right, let me cut this here, man. Yo, Nicki, we ain't cool. Like, I've never been one of the enemy of my enemies, my friend shit. I see you rocking out on Roc Nation. I think they're significantly powerful, and I think people duck that fade. Shit, I've ducked that fade my damn self because I don't want it. And you seem like you want to take it up, so I'm watching you, and I'm low-key rooting for you. But I do want to say this, and Nicki Minaj, I'm going to say this with all due respect. Don't forget the plot, okay? I don't know what you're going through or where whatever your purview is, but let me say this. The idea and what you're saying about Roc Nation, I actually believe personally. I think that they got some shit going on. They've suppressed they've done a lot of shady shit behind the scenes. I'm with you with that. But Nicki, don't be unhinged. We don't give a fuck about Dez Bryant, okay? Stay focused. We don't care about Dez Bryant. We don't care about Draw a Freckle on SZA. We don't care about those people. You're starting to come across to people who could believe you outside of your audience as slightly unhinged. And I know you probably don't give a fuck because you have so many barbs. It doesn't matter if an Akademiks or anybody else gives a fuck or believes or is with you on what you're saying. But stick to the goal. You're saying that these people have wronged you. They're doing weird, shady shit. When you just randomly go on, like, we don't give a fuck about Dez Bryant enough to go figure out what he did to his mom, respectfully, or what he did or didn't do to whoever else. You're coming off a little bit unhinged, baby girl. Okay? And I know you're upset, but you need to rein it in. I do believe Roc Nation is like the evil empire in the music business. I do believe that what they represent and their tactics to try to, take over this industry has always been shady and really been kind of nasty. But you, my girl, you, my queen, and I'll call you the queen because you're the queen of rap. This is not a good look, girl. Like, you're going from making sense to now people are like, what auntie you on? Just chill out a bit.
Associated do. So is that why you've been beating her? Because you are taking out what he did on your mother, who was a child, you dumb bitch. Just like my husband was a child, you dumb bitch, you cursed bitch. You not being in the NFL anymore, it's probably, I don't know anything about this. This man, shame to their dads. So when they see a dad that's living in a home married with his wife, I guess, maybe that's a trigger. Shame to their dads.
Okay. Nicki, here's another thing. And this is unsolicited advice. You don't got to take it. I think the way you're attacking certain people, they're always going to use your husband and your brother against you. Your brother's been convicted and is serving time for some really heinous things. Your husband, whether you have an explanation that he was a child and blah, 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 da, da, he is being forced to register by the government as a sex offender. Okay? If your lifelong mission is to fight that, go fight that. But every time you attack someone and you get super personal, they're always going to bring up those things about the people you love. And then we get into this weird thing where we're now listening to you defend, for example, your husband. Not saying you shouldn't, but you're defending him. And I'm going to be honest with you, that's not the thing I think most people want to latch behind. Nicki, the idea that you've exposed the industry and that people like Jay-Z and other people, they have used, the game and other people to, other people high in the game to control other people, we believe that. But when you start having to explain, when you try to connect all of that, the cabal and all this Illuminati shit and Jay-Z is evil and he got a kid, cool. Well, when you try to connect that to your husband catching the charge whenever, we're like, yeah, I think we lost the plot. And that's all I'm telling her. I think we lost the plot a bit.
If your mother was shame to their dads. So when they see a dad that's living in a home married with his wife, I guess, maybe that's a trigger. Shame to their dads. So when they see a dad that's
okay. So again, I'm just gonna say to Nicki, please, Nicki, please, 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 don't bring up your husband or whatever in the plight you got going on. I can't tell you what to do, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Nobody's gonna ride continually for your husband besides the Barbs. And I do think, even though she has some good points about Roc Nation, she's starting to become like, we're like, your auntie good? You sure? She took her meds? And that's not a good thing, okay? Somebody has to tell you that, Nicki. Somebody has to tell you that. Because I think the Barbs will go down whatever path you bring them on, but somebody has to tell you exactly. All right. Let's see. Okay.